Hi-ho, welcome to the post-Thanksgiving Dennis and Andy show. I'm Andy.
And I'm Dennis. Welcome back. We had a nice week off, although we had a nice little fun podcast that we put out there. Hope you had a chance to listen to the mail order mysteries. But we're back in the saddle. We got lots to talk about today. So you know what we have to start with?
Dun 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 dun.
Football.
Football.
Fantasy football.
Fantasy football. This guy. I won 143 to 102. I love reading a little recap that Yahoo, because we're in a Yahoo league. Yahoo always gives a nice little paragraph recap. The Dirty Boys had dumb luck, 5th consecutive loss in 143 to 102 rout.
Yep.
I will predict that I will never hear my team routing another team for the rest of the season. That is my prediction as of right now.
But you had your hoorah.
Yeah, I've got my hoorah,
Yeah.
and I'm in 8th place with my 143 to 102. Who's dumb luck again? Just so everybody knows, I was invited into this league, so besides Dennis and his wife, I don't really know everybody else. So who's dumb luck?
That's John. That's John. John Harbs. Yes. Yeah. I think he's down in Arizona now. But
Sorry, John.
yeah.
Wasn't your week?
Yeah, well, on my hand, both weeks I lost. So I lost on Thanksgiving, and then the week before Chad wiped me. I mean, it wasn't even close. And then I actually was ahead going into Monday night against Matt, and I was like, "Woo! Good to finally beat Matt." And he pulled it out. I mean, just seriously. I mean, this season, let's just put a fork in it and let's get to the playoffs so I don't have to worry about it anymore.
You won't even be in the playoffs.
Correct, I won't. I am still 2-10 in this season, and now I officially dumb luck has more points than me now too. So John has surpassed me in points. So I am officially in the cellar in every conceivable way. Worst year ever.
You're right up there at the Cowboys. In real life, basically.
I know.
I mean, they do have one more win than you. They have 3.
Yeah,
Yeah. But speaking of, to finish up with fantasy, I had to do a lot of reworking this week for the team because, good Lord, man, my quarterback, my main man, Tom Brady is on a bye this week, so he's out. My other quarterback, Jameis Winston, he's not playing for the Saints. So I've now got, for this week, Mitch Trubisky as my quarterback and Sam Darnold. Yes. Jets.
Yeah.
Own 11.
Jets. Or should I say the full Cowboys?
No, dude. No. The Jets are 0-11. The Cowboys are 3-7. The Giants, as of right now, if the playoffs were to start tomorrow, the Giants would be in 4th place. The Bucks, I believe, are in 6th place. I want to say the Rams are in 5th place because Seattle is now in 2nd place.
Yep.
And I don't know who 7th place is. I don't really care. The Saints, so my daughter is a Tampa fan, and I think Tampa's going to get into the playoffs as a wild card because the rest of the season for the Saints, they have 2 tough games, which of course I'm blanking on who they're playing, but I don't follow the Saints. I just know they have 2 tough games, and then the rest of their season is a freaking cakewalk.
Yeah, their Saints are looking good. The Saints are.
Oh my God,
they're looking good.
The Bucks season, the rest of the season is kind of not exactly a cakewalk. The Saints literally, their season's a cakewalk.
Yep.
Even with Drew Brees out. It's just like, that's why I think the Bucks are going to stay in 5th place. Or 6th place. I don't think they're going to move up to 5th.
Yeah, Saints, Packers, and Seahawks. Basically, that's who's really shooting for those top 2 spots. So we'll have to
wait a second.
See. Well, we don't have to worry about anybody from the Cowboys.
Shut
division.
up.
But no, one of them gets in because they're going to win the division.
I know, but what I was going to say is who's number 1 in the NFC right now then?
The Saints.
Oh, the Saints are.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
that's what you were saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So the Saints are number 1 right now.
And then I think the Packers are 8-3 and Seahawks are 8-3.
But I think the Seahawks are actually 2 and the Packers are 3 and then the Giants are 4 is what I'm saying. If you look, I'm going by last Sunday, so my memory, even though it was only a few days ago, they showed the playoff standings.
Well, which would make sense because it goes head to head, then it goes in your division and stuff like that.
Right.
So
that's
yeah, they could be.
Right. That's what I was saying because before the Rams game on Sunday, it was Saints, Rams, Packers, Giants, Seattle,
Saints, Seahawks.
No, Seahawks.
You said Rams.
No, because it was before the Rams played.
Before the played. Yeah,
but
yeah,
after the Rams played because they lost,
yeah.
It then goes, as of today, it goes Saints, Seahawks, Packers, Giants, Rams, Bucks, and then I can't remember.
Yeah.
It might be Vikings. I'm not sure. I don't know who the 7th is.
Yeah, because right now it would be Seahawks, and then Packers would play in the wild card, and then the Giants would play in the wild card.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. But, so, I mean,
we got lots of time.
There's still time left there's 4 games left.
Yeah.
Right? Or no?
No,
there's 6.
Yeah, there's 11, so we got 5 games.
5 games left. That's right. There's 5 left. The Saints have two hard ones and 3 easy ones. And, like, literally, when I say easy, they're playing Atlanta again, which shouldn't be a problem. I think the Panthers again. Anyhow, there's 5 games left. So, you're definitely – it really is in the NFC just looking at that top 3 to see who's going to position themselves.
Yeah, because then you got the Bucks, and, they're shooting for a wild card, and they could.
Well, they could. If the Saints fall apart for some reason – and the Bucks keep holding tough, winning, they could. I mean, with 5 games left, and the Bucks on a bye this week, the Bucks, they're
right.
They're not out.
No, not at all. Well, they're right
yet.
there with the Rams because the Rams are 7-4. So they've already had their bye, but Packers are doing well.
How's the Packers rest of the season? Do you know, like with who they're playing?
Well,
is it easy, tough, or
no? It's not easy. It's not easy, but. Then again, the Packers this season, it doesn't seem to matter if they're playing easy or tough. It's like they play down to the level of the team. So it's an interesting game no matter what happens.
Well, this week, the Cowboys play Tuesday night because of the Ravens-Steelers game that was Wednesday. They pushed the Ravens-Cowboys game to Tuesday. And it's in Baltimore. And I have a feeling on Wednesday, the Cowboys are going to be 3-9.
It could be.
They're not. I don't think they're going to beat the Ravens.
Yeah, no. The Packers play Philly.
Come on, that should be a win.
That should be a win.
Should be. Where's it at?
And then at Philly, and then we play the Lions. We play Panthers, and then Tennessee, and then the Bears. That's how we finish off the season. So we got a big win against the Bears, which is what we needed. And we need to finish off the season with another big win against the Bears. Because I think we put up like 41 points, so it was pretty nice to But
it's still tough because I think the Titans are doing pretty well.
They are. Like I said, that's not an easy
Titans are
schedule.
in the hunt right now, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the easy one is, in theory, is going to be the Eagles, but I never count the Eagles out. I mean, because you never...
Not in Philly.
No.
So... Well, that is and the best part about last week was Denver. Not best because of every quarterback on the squad was sidelined because of COVID. So they literally called up this dude that was a wide receiver that was working. I think he said he was working a regular job. I can't remember what it was, but he was working basically a 9-to-5 job, and they called him up. And he played quarterback before, but he's more known, I guess, as a wide receiver, and that's who they pulled in for the quarterback for Denver.
Yeah, because all their guys were out, so they pulled out a running back who had played quarterback.
It was a running back? I thought he was a wide receiver before.
I think he was a running back.
Oh, running back.
But you're right, and what can you say? That's the way this year's been. That's the way the season's going. So, yeah, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
So... The cool thing was I got back, so I've been gone for 2 weeks. So I got back from Wisconsin, couldn't wait to get back to the comic book shop.
Comics.
So it's time for
What did they get?
What did the boys get?
What did the boys get? Well, mine will go quickly because I was here last week for Thanksgiving, so I was able to go to the shop. We're not going to review, or I don't even remember what I got last week, so we're just starting fresh. So this week it was only $2. I got Daredevil 25.
Yep.
I'm not going to spoil it. I usually don't get Daredevil, but I got this issue because I'll just say Elektra's in it, and I like Elektra.
Yep.
And it kind of calls back to a Frank Miller storyline. We'll just leave it at that. So that's why I picked it up. And then I got Marvel, I guess you'd say their next event, King in Black, the ~1. I think is that one of something, or is it a one shot? I don't even know. It's a double-sized book. So it was $5.99 instead of the usual price. But I like Donny Cates' writing. I like Ryan Stegman's artwork a lot. And I've been kind of excited, looking forward to this King in Black. So, and I'm kind of an event type of guy with at least getting the ~1 just to see how it starts. So I'm looking forward to reading that. Haven't had a chance yet.
Cool.
That was it. $2.
Yep. I got Daredevil 25 in my box waiting for me.
Because somebody tipped you off.
Well, and I ran in and ran out really quickly because I was already kind of late, got stuck in bad traffic for way longer than I should have on the interstate. So I ran in, I was like, oh, all right. But what I did pick up my usual X books. So X Factor, the X of Swords is finally running down. So I'll be able to, at some in the near future, give us an update and see how the series kind of finished off.
Yeah, man. I'm relying on you on whether or not I should buy the collected edition when it comes out. Yep. So it's all on Dennis. No pressure. But if he goes thumbs up,
less pressure.
This guy's in.
So it's all on me.
That's right. It's all on Dennis. If Dennis is then I might still be in. See, the good part is I like most
the artwork and stuff. So I'll probably get it regardless. I've enjoyed it so far. Let's put it that way. Right. But with everything, with me being gone so much, I have not read nearly as much as I needed to. So I am behind, like, on Thor. So I picked up Thor. Orville. I can't wait to sit down and read it because that has been pretty good.
Is that limited or monthly? Limited series or ongoing?
No, it's ongoing.
It is. Okay.
Yeah, at least for now.
Right.
MODOK Head Games. Fantastic Four Road Trip. That looked kind of interesting. That was in my box, so I'll be curious to see how that goes. Vampire the Masquerade #5 was cool. Fantastic Four #4 Antithesis, which we'll be reviewing shortly.
What is that vampire book? I mean, have you read any of them? I know sometimes
it's based off of, no, I haven't. Now, it's based off an old role-playing game that we used to do, and it was a really unique role-playing game. So that is one that I'm just going to let it run for a little bit and then sit down and read it.
Is that a monthly too?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
So the publisher's cashing in, because who's the publisher? That's not a known one.
It's Vault.
So they're really cashing in with, like, let's not do a limited series to test the water with this. Let's just.
And a lot of their other ones were like 4, 5, or 6 issue miniseries. So this could be, but
I didn't see it where it comes up as like 5 out of 6. It just listed as a 5. So I'm assuming maybe they'll just continue it.
Yeah.
But the fun one, which I picked up, is Stranger Things, but their new title was Dungeons and Dragons. I saw #2 on there. I'm a big D&D fan, starting up another campaign again. So Dungeons and Dragons looked really cool. So I was like, do you have #1? He did. So I went and grabbed that. That looks really cool. I was flipping through it. Back in the day, I picked up the original I got for Christmas right when the original basic box set came out. My parents got it for me for Christmas, and I thought it was cool. You had to color in your dice with crayons and everything because they didn't even come pre-colored back then. And then I went out and bought the Expert set when they released that. And lo and behold, the kids are in there from Stranger Things, and they pull out the Expert set box set that they got. I was like, okay, yeah, this is an absolute must-have. So I picked it up. I'm going to wait because it's a mini series. I'm going to wait. I know I'm collecting it, so I'm just going to get it and I'll read them all at once.
Wow.
Yeah.
big D&D guy from high school.
Yeah.
That
still-
vampire
still-
role-playing game, was that 80s as well, or?
No, that was later.
That was
That
90s?
was probably 90s.
Wow.
And that was just unique. So yeah. But the one that I knew we had to read, even though I didn't have a lot of time, was we've been waiting for it. Fantastic Four Antithesis #4. Yep. And I finished it off, and I know you went and read it right away.
Yeah, you were out of town.
Yeah.
That's okay. So there you go. Perfect. Jogged my memory. My old man memory. Fantastic Four Antithesis is a book I got the day before Thanksgiving.
Yep.
That was one of them. It was I'll be honest. The day before Thanksgiving, I think it was Fantastic Four Antithesis. It was X-Men 15. Now now the memories are flooding back, and I think that was it. Oh no, I got 2 True Believers, but I can't remember what True Believers. You know, the reprint stuff Marvel does. I can't remember which ones came out last week, but I did pick up 2 of those. But the new stuff was Fantastic Four Antithesis 4 and X-Men 15. So anyhow, Fantastic Four Antithesis is the miniseries written by Mark Waid, who's a longtime writer in the business, and he loves Fantastic Four, and you can tell from the writing. Neil Adams on art. Neil Adams is, I mean, look, if you're into comics, you know who Neil Adams is. Mr. Batman, Mr. Green Lantern. For Marvel back in the late 60s, early 70s, it was his X-Men run that reignited that title. Mark Farmer's doing the inking over Neil Adams for the whole 4-issue run. Mark is a very Joe Sinnott slick inker, so it kind of gives that nice Silver Age comics feel. Laura Martin's doing the coloring. She's one of the top colorists in the business. But the basic gist was issue 3 ended with Galactus, who has been transformed back to human form. So he's this, human size.
It's
Gallon. He's human size. And they're trying to get him back to Galactus. But Reed Richards pulls a fast one and basically takes the power himself. In issue 3, we didn't spoil it with the review then, but now we're talking about it. So you've had a month to read it. Issue 3 ends with Reed Richards being Galactus. He's got a Galactus Fantastic Four type costume. He's Galactus-sized giant. And that's how issue 3 ends. And you're just like, whoa, what's up?
Neil it was a great ending piece. And Neil just drew it perfectly. I mean, I looked at it where I was like, wow, that was cool. It was really cool. So the question was, what are they going to do? He's got the power. And why would Reed take that instead of giving it back? So what was interesting, with this book is they give reasons for it. He's decided that Galactus doesn't need to be a threat to the universe.
Right.
And I won't explain all the reasons, but he decides that he's going to sacrifice himself in order to get Galactus. He's basically going to...
He's going to wither away. He's not going to
feed.
He's not going to feed. Even though Galactus supposedly just feeds on worlds that aren't inhabited and stuff, this is kind of a departure where I guess Galactus still does. So Reed's like, nope, not anymore. I'm Galactus. I'm going to basically starve myself. And they kind of touched on Reed was worried because he thought he was losing some of his mental faculties and stuff. And by being Galactus, he not only did he gain all that, but even more. He basically said, oh my God, I know everything.
Right.
Almost.
He goes, he says, I now have more answers than I have questions.
Yeah.
And you've never heard him say that. So it was amazing as everything's flooding in. But when you find out the true reasoning behind it, and then he winds up, you're like, oh, so he's worried about his fragility in his human side,
right,
that he's losing his marbles and he's just not sharp. And it's just great because you've got the core of the Fantastic Four. He teleports everybody back to Earth, including the Silver Surfer, Galen, and and they're like, how do we get back and stop him? And it's a really interesting and fun story how they have to bring Reed Richards, or the new Galactus, to Earth in order to try and reason with him and do it. And it just harkens back to, it reminds me of a really good Silver Age story.
That's what I was going to say. It harkens back to the Fantastic Four of the Kirby era.
Yeah.
And the early 100s and stuff. And yeah, I'd say I was going to say, and maybe because this my second favorite run of Fantastic Four, and it's the run I grew up with, was the John Byrne era.
Yeah.
You know, which I believe started. He had some fill-ins before, but he actually took over writing and drawing. I think at 232 was the issue, and I bought, you know, from that issue on, I bought them all. And John really brought in that big Jack Kirby, wow, Stan Lee type stuff. And that was in the 80s, and this 4-issue miniseries has a Silver Age, you know, 1970s Fantastic Four feel with the bigness. That's like really the way to describe it, the bigness of it.
Yeah. The characterizations were good.
Oh yeah.
And so throughout, you know, we've been talking about how it started so great and it kind of went down a notch. And then, you know, it came back up and we really were excited at the end of the last one. So I was like, you know, how are they going to finish it off?
Yeah, the payoff.
It was. And they, in my mind, they succeeded. It was an enjoyable ending. It was fun to see what they did. And then ultimately, you get to see Galactus reunited. And there's a reason, which is cool, because Galen does not want the power back.
Right.
Which is a really cool storyline. And they touch on that in there. So it's just really fun because maybe he's tired of being Galactus. Maybe he hates feeling the way that he is because he's been doing it for...
As Galen,
Right.
he can go to a Pizza Hut now and just chow down on some pizza. He doesn't have to eat a world. He's human size.
Right.
He could get a Big Mac and be satisfied.
That is true.
Yeah. See,
That is true.
Galen's back. Galen's on Earth now going, whoa.
Yeah.
That's what a restaurant is?
Yep.
Nice.
But there's one really cool piece, and, you know, at the end, you know, they wind up reverting the power back to Galactus. So Galactus is back. You can see the Silver Surfer, you know, ushering him away, going to go find him somewhere to feed, because they figure it's going to take at least a couple of worlds for him to get back, you know, to where he's stable. But Reed plants something, which is really fun.
Well, I don't think it was a plant. I think it was just left over. Didn't they describe it more as a leftover from Reed's consciousness?
Well, Reed said, I left a seed.
Yes, okay.
And so basically he left a seed of his consciousness back in the power. And he goes, I hope that it grows and continues. Right. And one day something becomes of it. Right. So now that seed has been planted, and I want to see at some point that something becomes of this.
Well,
because the time frame is the kids were just, Franklin was born and Valerie was just being born. So this is
not in continuity.
Correct. This is something that happened like 12 years ago. I'm trying to remember the exact timing, but maybe like 12 years ago. So it's been sitting there festering this entire time. So I hope that means this is a lead-in. Somewhere in the near future, they're going to do something with that seed and have it spring forward.
Right. That would be cool. It'd be a nice callback. Now, I do have a couple little minor art complaints.
Okay.
I don't know if you picked up on these, so
I'll
throw them out there. There's a panel. You know, Neil Adams is known for big stuff on the pages, whether it be a big figure to just really grab your eye or a big close-up, whatever. There's a big close-up of the Silver Surfer, and his hands are kind of doing this. One, he's got fingernails, and that drove me crazy.
I did not pick up on that.
Grab the issue. Pick it up. He's got fingernails. Oh my God. That drove me absolutely crazy. It's on the right-hand side, big head down here. Not only that, he has pupils.
Okay, that was the one I was going to pick up on.
It's that shot.
And it was, okay, because...
So find that shot.
I saw the pupils, and I was like, and the scene right above it, is typical white, silver eyes that are completely
Well, that's what he's supposed to have. He doesn't have pupils. So Neil drew him, and, you know, look, every artist gets a pass. One of my first jobs, while Dennis is looking for it, one of my first gigs in the business 30 years ago was a Green Lantern annual. I got halfway through it, and the editor called me up and said, man, I just realized you've drawn the ring on the wrong finger the whole up until this now. And that's 26 pages into a 52-page book. So I had to go back and redraw the ring. Because, like an idiot, I drew his Green Lantern ring on the proper hand, but I drew it on the ring finger, not his middle finger. So everybody does it. But, we'll pop this on the screen, but there's a big close up, and he's got pupils, so that drove me crazy. And he's got fingernails, and I got to be honest, maybe Mark Farmer, when he was inking it, he was just like, man, I'm inking Neil Adams. I'm intimidated enough. I'm not changing anything. But I can honestly say, I don't care who it is. If I saw something like that, if I had the job inking Neil Adams and I saw pupils, I wouldn't have inked them. If I saw fingernails, I would not have inked them.
Well, and I'm just going to say the fingernails are also in the screen where his eyes were silver.
Yeah.
He did have fingernails right there. Never picked up on the fingernails. The pupils are what got me.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that was what I picked up on. I'm like,
now, the second thing, because that to me counts as one thing.
Okay.
Go to the back where it's Galactus again. Galen back is Galactus.
Yep.
Go flip a page.
Okay.
If you look, you can tell that this is color. So basically, Galactus's helmet, his eyes, he has eye slits in the big armor of that big giant helmet that he wears. So basically, it's like a Captain America thing where you see this much of his face, and then he has eye slits, right?
Yeah.
And that's not what Neil drew. Neil drew the armor like this, and it looks like the editor caught it after the pages were inked, and it was too late for redrawing. So he asked Laura Martin, the colorist, just color around his eyes purple, because that's how it would be if he was wearing the helmet properly.
Oh.
So that actually drove me a little crazy as well, because it should be metal. This is the only part of his face that's flesh. His tip of his nose and his mouth, and he has eye slits that are metal. I know, it's my OCD. I can't take it.
So
I see stuff like that in comics.
Okay, so I interpret it differently. So you're looking at it as an artist. I am looking at it as that panel where he's looking forward and you see the hole. I assume that that's just his eye. What it is, and I took it as that's really not opening, that they're showing, like purposely removing a part of that wall, basically a thing, just so you could see the human side of him and his emotion that was going forward. So all of this, I assumed, was actually part of the armor, but they just removed it so you could see. It's kind of like if they come down, that's how I interpreted it, though.
No, because you can see all the wrinkles around his eyes and all that stuff. So it looks
what
like
you're saying.
So it looks like paint. It looks like face paint. It's like Galactus was like, you know what? I don't like all that metal covering my eyes. I'm just going to use little rouge or eyeliner or whatever that crap women use around their eyes is to paint purple.
Okay.
And like I said, these are small things. And I'm a huge Neil Adams fan. I love Neil's work. I thought this series was great. But when I see pupils in the Silver Surfer and when I see fingernails on a Silver Surfer, I'm just like, no!
The pupils are what I picked up on. I never even noticed the fingernails because I said as soon as I saw the pupils, I was like, has he ever had pupils before? And that's what actually got me thinking. And I started going back through even some of the old issues, and I'm like, I don't ever remember.
Well, see,
that happen.
If you really want to get technical, it comes down to the artist. But when Jack Kirby created the Silver Surfer, he didn't have normal size eyes. The whole space of the eye socket is white. If you look at Kirby drawing the Surfer, and if you look at John Buscema drawing the Silver Surfer, it's the same thing. The whole from the brow down and under, basically the eye socket is all white. And then some artists interpreted it as just drawing normal eyes with no pupil.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what Neil did. And I think when the few times I've drawn the Surfer, that's what I did too. I just drew normal eyes, but no pupil and stuff.
Okay.
But when Kirby and Buscema did it, he looked more alien because it was that whole big area that was white.
Yeah, which I really like.
Yeah, I think that's really, like, if I ever draw the Surfer again, that's how I plan on doing it. And it's the same thing with ears. He has no ears. The jaw just stops.
Right.
But then I've seen some artists do, like, just the little undercut of the ear right here and then nothing else, like it's a mask. And then I've seen some artists do the full circle with no detail of the ear, but just the outline of it.
Okay.
And then if you look at Kirby and Buscema, though, there's no ears. He's an alien. It's just flat.
It's just, it's like a dome.
Right. Hey, Whoa.
It's just a phrase.
That's hurtful. All right, so
We got to grade it.
We got to grade it, and then we're going to move on to the Mandalorian.
Yep.
So I'm going to go a 9.4. I thought it was really good. Like Dennis said, we thought the first issue was really good, had a great cliffhanger. Issue 2 picked right up, but I felt it was like more of a roller coaster with ups and downs instead of just it keep getting better going up. Issue 3, I thought picked up some, and you got to that ending, and it was like, whoa. And issue 4, I thought just kept the trajectory going up. So
I'm close. I'm close to what you're thinking. I'm giving it a 9.2 near mint minus. It was enjoyable all the way through. Like, and you're right, we had a little bit, but there were never any super highs and super low. There were some pretty good highs, but we didn't have too many lows. A little lull, I think in issue 2. But overall, it was a great series. So glad I picked it up. I definitely recommend people picking it up and reading it, particularly if you're a fan of that style and that era. Yeah, it is definitely worth a pickup. Hopefully, you'll enjoy it as much as we did. And if you do, leave us comments down below. We always kind of want to hear what you think about it.
Yeah, and I got to say, I'm looking forward to it because they did announce that it's going to be a treasury size trade paperback. I'm sure they'll do a regular size as well, but they're putting it out, I believe, in March of next year. It's the big 10 by 13 treasury size, collecting all 4 issues. I'm going to get it because I love looking at the art that size, but I want to read it in one sitting. Yeah. Not that I can't now with the 4 issues, but I think as a one sitting thing, it just seems more of the stories these days, even though there's always been stories that are to be continued and things like that. It just seems that the way they're written now are really meant to be like, no, you really shouldn't wait 30 days. Just keep going through it.
Yeah.
Chapter 1, chapter 2. So anyhow, Mandalorian, 2 weeks worth.
I know. So Mandalorian, Andy called me up when I was up in Wisconsin. He goes, "Did you watch it yet?" I'm like, "Not yet. We're good. We're gonna watch it, dude." It's all he would say, and I was like, "All
We're
right."
not talking about the latest one. We're talking about the one before that.
Correct.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
one before that.
Yeah. So the first one,
Siege.
it was the Siege chapter 12, and we had just got done talking about it in the podcast before it. Man, it would be really nice if we saw Gina Carano come back, and we were just literally talking about it, and then boom, there she is. He has to go back to the planet. Carl Weathers, he's
He
there.
directed it, by the way.
I know. I
He
caught
directed
that.
it.
That
Yeah,
was
that's
awesome. And so Carl's kudos, loved
Great
it.
job.
That was a fun one where it's almost a self-contained series. He gets back, the dock worker, the lady who's in charge, she's good with the droids. She's already become kind of one of those fan favorite the droids run up, and oh no, he doesn't like your kind, but he lets him, which means the Mandalorian, he's evolving, he's learning patience.
That's right.
This was really cool. And they wind up getting back together for a really fun adventure because the Empire is on the planet. But they don't think it's a full-blown empire. They don't think it's just one little base. There's a few stragglers in there. But we need to take this out to wipe it for this planet. That's what Carl Weathers is saying. We just need to remove that to get it all on there. Should be a simple task. Mando, we need your help.
And he dropped the child, Baby Yoda, off to be babysat.
Yep.
Basically, because you don't want to take him on a mission like that. I loved, and I'm so bad with names. Who was the alien dude that Carl Weathers basically used as a chauffeur to take him to the base, the Empire base?
Oh,
I can't
the
remember.
blue guy.
Yeah, the blue guy. Because it's a certain Hector too. Well, anyhow,
Mithril.
Yes.
Yes.
So Carl Weathers uses
Because it's
him.
Horatio Sands.
Yeah, Horatio Sands played him.
Yes.
And once again, you recognize the voice.
Yes.
You're just like, and the mannerisms.
Yes.
Even with all the makeup and stuff. And he was great because he had, there was gunfighting in it and stuff. And, he's a hesitant guy. He's like, oh. shoots around a
I'll
corner.
just sit
and
in the
stuff.
speeder and wait for you.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, nope, you're coming. But nope. It was, you touched on how it was kind of like a one-off episode, but I think every episode this season has basically been a one-off where they touch on the larger point of, look, I got to get Baby Yoda to this place,
Right.
but I'm being sidetracked again because of this.
Right. But you
Yeah.
always find out more. So what I
Well,
like
yeah,
about
they
this
always move it forward.
it's not like Star Trek, where, in all the series, they would have a completely self-contained something that would have nothing to do with anything else.
Right.
This one, it's always like a side story that isn't necessarily just leading towards it,
Right.
but he's able to, something happens, and in this case, it's the base. The base winds up not being, completely abandoned or mostly abandoned. It's not just a few remnants. Moff Gideon's got stuff going on here, and they start finding out pieces, and it relates all the way back to Baby Yoda.
Well, that was see, I get so confused because we're talking about 2 episodes. This is the episode that ended where you saw the dark armor dudes, right? Remember?
Yeah,
that was this episode, right?
Yeah, so that is the one where they take the transport that's up there, they launch off the transport to escape, landing on his speeder.
Crushes the speeder, which, because the transport's not a full ship that flies, it just hovers like the speeder,
Right.
basically. Yeah.
Right, and then the TIE fighters, they actually have TIE fighters in here. Like you said, this base, there was a lot more there than what they were anticipating. It was a full concealed working base that was in there, which shocked everybody there. And their job is to destroy it.
And with the TIE fighters chasing that not speeder, but transport, it was a freaking car chase. They had a Star Wars car chase because you think of the TIE fighters, you think space, but this was all on planet. So it was basically, a car chase.
You know what it reminded me of, and this will take us nerds back a long ways. Lee Majors and Burgess Meredith had an old movie called The Last Chase, where
I don't remember that.
It was no gas.
Was that before $6 Million Man?
It was back in that, probably like 79. And Burgess Meredith was a fighter pilot, but there's no gas, so all cars were electric and everything like that.
Whoa.
And Burgess Meredith was a fighter pilot, and Lee Majors had an old race car, and he wound up going across, and they couldn't let him do it because the government was like, no, we got to shut him down. So they get out an old fighter plane, jet fighter plane, and Burgess Meredith goes after Lee Majors in this fighter plane. This is exactly what it reminded me of. Guns coming down, the TIE fighters are shooting at him. He's trying to evade them. The only difference is they actually have a rear turret on this transport. So Carl Weathers said, go back, and I got to go shoot him down. And he manages to do okay.
For what it is.
Right. It's kind of hard to do it. But that whole chasing with the planes of TIE fighters coming down, them shooting, and then racing. Anyway, it just reminds me of this old movie, and that's exactly what I saw when I thought of it. But it was just a great, and again, it was great Star Wars. Right. That's the thing that I can keep coming back to the show about is this isn't just good sci-fi. This is good Star Wars that they're bringing in.
Moving on to the latest episode.
Yeah.
Where we finally learned Baby Yoda's real name.
Dun, dun, dun. So spoiler.
We're telling it. Grogu.
And
not the cutest name. It is cute.
It's not what I would have chosen, but it's his name.
But so Grogu, to me, it sounds cute, which is, it works because Baby Yoda's cute. But then you kind of fast forward, I guess, thousands of years. Like, how many years is it till he gets to look like Yoda? Would you estimate? How many years would that be?
For the Yoda we saw, he was already in his 900s. So, you're probably going to say maybe, another 100 before he becomes adolescent, teenage maybe?
So the point is, by the time Baby Yoda gets to adulthood in, say, 200-300 years, when he's actually Yoda's age in 500, 600 years, I just see him getting shit for, it's like, oh, dude, your name's Grogu? Seriously? What were your parents thinking? Come on, dude. That's a puss name.
Except, and over there, maybe it's the toughest ass name in the entire species.
Could be.
I don't know. I mean, could be like, it would be the equivalent of like Mortal Kombat, the dude with all the arms.
Yeah, no, that's true.
I don't know.
Good point.
But we find his name out because there's an incredibly important character that comes to us that we've been also waiting for and have talked about. We finally get to see Ahsoka Tano.
Ahsoka Tano.
Played by Rosario Dawson.
Wait, can I name drop something real quick?
Spoilers, so go ahead.
Oh, it's not a spoiler.
Oh, okay.
No. It's not it's kind of a name drop. It's not even a celebrity sighting. Okay, so way back in 2005, when Superman Returns came out.
Yeah.
Here in Charlotte, we just moved here, and Superman Returns came out in June. We moved here in March, and Shelton Drum, the guy that owns Heroes Aren't Hard to Find the comic shop, he also is the guy that started Heroes Con, that as of now, it's been, there wasn't one this year, but up until that point, it's almost 40 years old. So in 2005, he rented out a theater for guests of the show to see Superman Returns.
Okay.
I sat next to Rosario Dawson to watch that movie because she was here as a guest because she was working with, I believe, 12 Gauge is a publishing company, small publishing company, a friend of mine, Kevin Gardner, owns.
Yeah.
And they were doing a project, if memory serves. So she was here, and her uncle is an artist named Gus Vasquez, who I've worked with before in comics. He's a comic book artist as well. That's her uncle, and he's always usually at Heroes Con. So she was here. So we go to see Superman Returns, and I'm just walking in, and I go to sit down in a row, and I see Gus, and I'm like, "Is it cool if I sit here?" He's like, "Yeah, my niece is going to sit here too." And I'm like, all right, so just leave a seat, no problem. So it's me, and then empty seat, and then Gus, and then his niece comes walking in, and it's Rosario Dawson. So she sits down. So I got to meet Rosario Dawson. We talked for a little bit. And I know for a fact there's no way she'd remember that, but I do.
But I do.
So yeah. So there you go.
That is really cool.
Yeah,
that is really cool.
So we chatted before the movie a little bit, and she's a comic book fan. So yeah,
she is. So. She is a bona fide nerd, and which is really awesome.
Yeah. She was awesome.
So I was just going to say, so we got to talk about her performance.
Oh
so
my God.
As soon as we saw her, you're immediately, before she even says a word, you're going to critique her. And at the beginning, it's all lightsabers. She's got her dual lightsabers. Oh, yeah. And, she's doing something. Her mannerisms, even like her headdress, because she's Twilight. It looks really good, and from what we knew her from the other two animated shows,
right,
she looked perfect in every way. The only negative we were even talking about is she felt like it's kind of what Hugh Jackman was to Wolverine, a little too tall. But they filmed it in such a way.
She was okay, so I've never seen the animated stuff. So
this is really short.
This is my literally first seeing of this character, so I had nothing to relate it to. So I had no idea. Like you brought up the headdress stuff.
Yeah,
I had no idea. So I'm going to ask this. You people might be like, "You idiot." Dennis might even say, "You idiot." But I don't know. Is that something that comes off, or is that part of
that's part of her?
That's part.
But it's colored and
it's
stuff
colored.
Like that.
So if that wasn't colored, it'd be that red flesh color she has. Is what you're saying?
Oh, or
is that the way it is?
It could be blue. So a lot of the Twilights that we were introduced were always blue. So I don't know if she colors it.
Okay, but point is that is attached.
Right.
Okay. See, I don't know this.
So what was interesting is we were like, because when you see her in the cartoons, in the animated stuff, she's quite a bit shorter. So you're thinking she's very slender. Rosario does have the right arms and stuff.
Slender, yeah.
But when we actually went and looked it up, they list Ahsoka as 5'6", so she's really not that far off.
She's that far off.
She looked great though. I mean, everything about her mannerisms, the way she talked, her eyes, the way that everything. It was almost a perfect casting. So I'm just giving kudos right away, you guys, because she looked great. She sounded great. And while it's a different person, because she was not the voice of her in the animated series,
Right.
so
Nope,
unlike
not Katie Sackhoff.
right,
Yeah.
not like Katie Sackhoff and some of the other people, this was as good of a casting as you could get. So I mean, she played it perfectly from the beginning of the episode to the very end. Great. She was just awesome.
The basic gist is the Mandalorian and the child Grogu go to this planet, and because he's was basically advised to go there with Baby Yoda, right?
Yep.
That's why he went there, and comes across the village, and the village is being run by this woman who is evil, I guess you could say, because she's not. Is she in canon? The woman that was running the place.
As far as I know, no.
Okay.
I think she might be new.
So she's running this place with her guards and stuff, and she basically makes a deal with the Mandalorian, saying, "Look, I'll give you this staff that's made out of this really strong metal. It's basically, in my mind, Star Wars version of adamantium."
Yeah, Beskar is
Oh,
as far as we know, that it's one of the toughest.
And it's
metals.
what his armor's made out of.
Yeah, that's what they melt, and that's why it's so incredibly valuable.
So she's basically like, "Look, I'll give you this staff, but you need to go hunt down this Jedi."
Yeah.
And take him out. And you know that's not going to happen. So there's no spoiler there. He cuts a deal with the Jedi, which is Rosario's character, and we're not going to spoil everything. It was just
she winds up getting into at the end. We'll talk. There is some great martial art combat between Ahsoka. And then Morgan Elsbeth is the name of the character. You almost think she's like the acting governor. That's what it looks like.
She's like
But now the cool thing is, because her actual name is Diana Lee Inosanto, she's actually the goddaughter of Bruce Lee.
No way.
Yep. That is why she's actually, related to the Insantos for in martial arts, which is why she's incredibly good at martial arts. They did that for a specific reason in here. And when you get to that fight scene, so she's wielding the Beskar staff, and then which of course can deflect lightsabers and Ahsoka, and it's a pretty even match, till the end. So it is great martial arts, great Star Wars combat, all the way through. And then they wind up having, she's got a hired gun that she brings in, which is
Michael Biehn. As soon as I saw him, I was like, "Oh, Michael Biehn!"
Well, he doesn't look quite the same because I think of him immediately from Terminator.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. They didn't do anything to his look.
Right.
He's just older.
But the moment he opened his mouth and spoke, I went, "Oh, I know that voice."
Wait a second. You really didn't recognize him at first?
Well, no, because as soon as they showed him up there, you're looking at him, and I'm looking at it, and it did not click with me immediately. No. The moment he spoke to her, I was like, "Oh, I know that," and then I was like, and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, "Oh, that's Michael Biehn. That's Terminator." That's when I picked up.
Oh no, it clicked with me right away. I was just, to me, Terminator, I know it was over 30 years ago, but I still think it was yesterday.
I know.
So when I saw him, I'm like, "Oh my God, dude's a senior citizen."
Right. And I'm like,
"Oh my God, he's a freaking senior citizen."
I'm like, Kyle Reese has his ARP card.
Carl Weathers.
Reese. Well, from Terminator.
Oh, Terminator. Yeah, exactly.
Right. That's why I'm saying he got his ARP card, and that's why it didn't click on me right away because I looked at him. Totally he looked familiar, but it wasn't something that clicked until he opened his mouth. I went, "Oh, I know that voice anywhere," and I thought that was awesome.
And so they had like the kung fu stuff in it with that fight you were talking about.
Yeah, the martial arts.
They had the Western standoff with the Mandalorian and Michael Bihn's character.
Oh, that was
total,
great.
like the way Carl Weathers directed it, total Western standoff, gunfight type directing. The Jedi, of course, when she saw Baby Yoda, she knew his name. That's how the Mandalorian found out Baby Yoda's name is Grogu. She knew more about him, and of course, Mando was like, "Well, great, he's yours. Bye, I'm out." And after everything, she's like, "No, he has an attachment to you.
I can't treat him. You're like a father figure.
You're like a father figure." And they do this great scene between her, Rosario Dawson, and Baby Yoda, and it just doesn't work with what they do. So that's as much as a spoiler you'll get.
Yep.
And then she's like, "Here, you try it." And Mando does it, and basically after a couple tries, it works. And there's a one key reason it worked.
Yep.
And it was very cute. And I saw this great image online afterwards where it really is a callback to a scene with Yoda from Star Wars where Baby Yoda's using the Force. And the meme that I saw was an overlay of Baby Yoda overlaid onto Yoda. And it was the same camera angle, same pose, same arm that was raised, same squint. Like, my daughter loves it when Baby Yoda uses the Force because he squints a little bit and stuff. Oh, man, it was so good.
It was good. The only correction is, so this is Chapter 13, The Jedi. Dave Filoni directed this one. Carl Weathers did 12.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
You're right. I'm sorry. Dave Filoni.
So when Dave Filoni, when we were talking the whole Western and the hand twitching by the pistol and everything, yeah, great. I'm just we got to give them our grades.
Yep.
And honestly, both of them, this was probably one of my favorites. The 13 I'm giving a 9.62 because I loved everything about it. Yeah. The one before it I'm giving a 9.4. I totally enjoyed that episode. I've liked almost everything they put out this season. This is just great stuff. So I'm doing 9.4 and then 9.6 on the current.
I'm gonna go just the flat 9 for the one Carl Weathers directed with the Empire stuff. I mean, I liked it. I mean, a 9's a hell of a score, but it wasn't one of my favorites. And then this one definitely was. So this one I can go a 9.6 like you, because it was by far, I thought Rosario Dawson was fantastic. I want to see an episode with Rosario Dawson, Tim Oliphant, and Carl Weathers, and what's the...
Gina Carano?
Yeah, Gina Carano. I want to see an episode with all of them and the Mandalorian and stuff, because I think they're all just doing a great job. So
yeah, great.
Hey, well, that's it, guys.
Nope.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, that's it. We're going to tease you though. Next week we are going to. There's a movie called The Climb that came out. It was actually filmed, I believe, in 2019. It is about two best friends. One of them's getting married, and the other one's the best man. But there's some issues, we'll just say. It's called The Climb.
It looks like an independent film.
It's an independent film, small budget. I love films like that. We're going to catch it this week. We will put the trailer in so you can watch it. And
it looks fun.
Yeah, the trailer looks real fun. So we'll pop the trailer in. So stay tuned for that. And we'll catch you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Mike, I'm getting married. How awesome is that?
Awesome.
She loves me for who I am. And I love her for who she is. And I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with her.
Kyle, I slept with her.
What? What do you mean slept?
Kyle hates me.
He should hate you.
I know. I'm a bad friend.
Oh my God. Mike, are you serious?
What you did to him was selfish. Kyle's selfless. He always thinks about other people first. I invited Mike for Christmas.
What?
He is not doing well. We were his only family, and now he has no one. Mike's in the living room. He got fat, right? Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Jesus.
Oh my God! Is that Mike? He got fat.
Hey, we should do catapult next.
No, that's a black diamond. He's gonna crash.
Okay, well, it's snow. If he crashes, it's snow.
I'd rather not crash.
Kyle, no one wants to crash.
He's gotta go.
Yeah, he's gonna go tomorrow.
I mean, he's gotta go away. Not in our lives.
But he's my friend.
Sometimes when you think you're doing the wrong thing, it's actually what's needed.
Let's go.
I don't care. I don't care what happened.
If you love someone, you should care what happened.
Yeah, I don't.
Hey.
Nobody likes her.
Nobody likes you, Mike. I am the only one who likes you. And I don't know why, because you're loud and obnoxious and you're an ass.
Hey, can I just say?
No.
Mike.
When you get knocked down, you gotta get right back in there.
If I catch you, I'm gonna kill you.
I know, that's why I waited for the hill.
Ah, ah.
Yeah, you got this.
Mike, shut up.
Dig.